Let me give you the permission to record. So here in today's system, we are discussing more about the sys module of the Python, and we were talking how it is going to work. And for that purpose only, we have opened this IDLE, and where we are going to see some of the utility example for this sys module. Correct? So basically, what are the basic things, so basic modules we are looking anywhere for if we have to check for the system information? What we are going to check? What are the versions of the software we are using? What are the operating system we are using? And what are the architecture of this, right?
Yeah.
Like that we are making use. And if you see this ideally when you are starting this cell, it will by default give you some of the information. As you can see, it is showing you the information, right?
Yeah.
On the top, Python 3.8, something like that. But
Yeah.
how we can make use of this into by making use of the some of the modules, right? So that is the main concern, and that we have to make use of that. And we will see how we can make use of this into our module. So basically, this is the module, right? And if we want, first of all, we are going to print the version. So here we are not able to get anything, and if you hit enter, you will get this error because it is saying sys is not defined, means your computer is not able to make use of this sys. So from where we can make use of this one and how it can? So for that purpose only, we have to import it first before using, right? Now sys module is imported and it will be present. If you make use of this sys, it will give you the different information which is available to this one. Oh. So like sys dot version, if I want to get the system version, right? Hit enter, it will give you, and it is saying you the 3.8.3, that is the current version of the Python, and it is telling you the information where it is working. So this information, the first line itself, if you see the same example output, it is from the Python ideally. Correct?
Yeah.
Now sys.sum, we have another version name. What mistake I did? I did some, and because it is not giving us the suggestions, for that purpose only we are using ideally, right? Because here we are getting everything very easily. This, see here, not the ideally, this PyCharm. So sys.version, it will give you the system version, correct? If you click on this sys.info, it will give you the information about the version. Okay, and we have the methods like get recursion limit. I will tell you more about this recursion limit later on after this example. But for as of now, you can see that this is the method available, right? Suppose by default, if the system is giving you some get recursion limit, sorry. So what is the recursion? Previously also we talked about the recursion, right? So what actually this recursion is? This recursion is nothing but a function calling itself, right? That is a recursion. When a function is called from the same function itself, that is the recursion. And we have seen some of the examples also, right? Factorial also we have seen. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here it is saying you get recursion limit. Okay, so forget about this get. We will talk first on the recursion limit. What actually it means? It means if you are running anything recursively, what could be the limit for that? Means maximum number of the times the recursion operation can be performed. That information will be given by this recursion limit. So there will be by default in Python there will be some recursion limit already. It will be set, right? That is the default one. And if you just see the immediate next method, it is showing the set recursion limit. Means if something is there, like 1000 is there, now I want to change it to 1200, I want to change it to 1500. That also we can do it by making use of this set recursion limit. Like that, we have this hook, but it is not related directly to this sys module. But by making use of this sys module, we can be able to work. But unnecessarily, we are not going to like dig all the things. Whenever it is required, we are going to check it out. API versions, maybe it will be used. Then argument V. So this is the, suppose you write one program, okay, and directly you are giving the input to the, from the console window terminal, you are giving the input to whenever it is going to ask. Now there is a possibility that I will write the code and run it from the command prompt, Windows command prompt, or any other command prompt, right? And from their command prompt only I need to pass the value, that argument, to my program, whatever I have written, or someone, whatever, whoever has written. So that argument can be also passed by using this module only. So that is the argument method. Like that, we have the lot many other methods. So if you see the sum of the how we can print the copyright information and other things, that you need to explore all the things, but it is not mandatory that you have to make use of all these things. Some program is written and for that you want to exit. Like whenever you are running the program, it is giving you the exit code 0 or 1, right?
Yeah.
Similar, that is the same method, but here you need to write your exit, and in the status you need to write the code. So all are the different informations that is available over here, that some of the informations we will check, and how we will check. So first of all, we need to import this one, and like sys.version, if we are checking, so directly from this like editor we cannot print it. So for that purpose we need to make use inside the print statement, right? So the same thing, as you can see, it is written over here, print sys version. Let me comment all these and we'll discuss each and every one by one. Okay, so if I will run this example now, sys.version, I am simply printing. What you are getting? You are getting the information about the Python, like what is the version and on what machine it is running. So it is the 64-bit machine, and other date and time information you are getting. That the same information you can see over here in the IDLE, right? This first line. Now the very first thing, what is the difference between this sys.version and sys.version info, right? So first of all, we will comment this one now and we will run only one.
I think we get the version information actually now.
Yeah, it will give you the version. So it will specifically related to the versions, and it is like the release version and other things that is related to softwares and hardwares, right? You can see here release level, final and serial, something like that. Whatever the information it is available, that it is printing. Got it?
Yeah.
Now sys.get recursion limit. So recursion we will talk into some other program or example also. But for here you can see simply we are making use of the get recursion limit. Means maximum how much it can be recursively called one, right? One inside one, it is how many times it is getting called. So by default it is getting called 1000 times in Python. Okay, as you can see it is printed the 1000, but you want to change it something, right?
Yeah.
You want to set your own custom. So this is the way you can set it. That the same thing you have seen, right? So by default it was 1000. Now you are setting that 1500. Means now any method can be recursively called 1500 times instead of 1000. You need to check it out, because whether what the value you are setting in the line number 8, 9, the same thing is updated or not, right? So again, you can call this method only get recursion limit, because you just set it out into your machine 1000 to 1500. So that value should be modified now, right? You can see over here. Is it?
Yeah.
So this is nothing but it doesn't require everywhere in every time whenever you are working as a Python developer, it will not require, but it is one of the module which is present into the Python. So we have explored a little bit on that part. Okay, it doesn't mean that this is having only this much information only. You can see we have a lot others, but we don't want other things, right? We are not making use of most of the methods, but if it is required, you can simply make use of this one. Okay, if I'm taking this platform, I don't know, you also don't know what actually this platform. So if we call this one, what will happen? Let me, as a normal person who doesn't know anything, if he is making use of this sys.platform, and as it is from the editor, so we are printing the value associated to that. Now see what it is saying. What it is giving you the information? It is giving you the information that this Python, whatever you have downloaded and we are using, that is supported for Windows 32 bit. Got it? It is,
Yeah.
it is not the information about the my laptop. It is information basically for your Python only. Okay, so this it is supporting for Windows 32. So it is printing the sys.platform. Moreover, if you wish, you can just simply go and explore all the different sys methods which is available into the sys module. But ideally, it's not required. But still, if you wish, you can be able to do it. There is no issue in that one. Okay. So this was one of the sys module. We have till now we have seen the print, right? Print method for printing anything, but it is the like plain text. Whatever the content you will write inside that same, it will be printed. If you write like this one, hello, it will print hello, right? If you modify this hello with prefix with the slash n, means the value will be printed to the next line, right? It is not doing any formatting work for you, right? It is not doing any formatting work. So whether is there any like module which is going to do the formatting work for you? So for that purpose, we have one module that is known as pprint. Okay. So what actually this means, and how we can call this one? So this is known as something like the pretty print. Okay, and this is the like one of the modules like which is going to give you the formatted kind of the thing. So how formatted is going to work? So for that purpose also I have somewhere one example, p print. Yeah. Okay, so this is one of the example. P print simply means the pretty print. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
So see, this is one of the data, and what actually this data is? This data is nothing but it is a one of the list, right? And this list is having some of the element inside this one, and that list is again made. So this square braces is telling that this is the list. Inside that some value is there, and corresponding to that, what is this? This is the map dictionary. Remember the curly braces.
Yeah.
It is only for the means display purpose. It doesn't have any intention to write over here, right? If you see a small a is the key, then value is the capital A, B then capital B. Like that, it is key value pair. It is there. So totally, it is having totally 5 elements inside that list. Okay, and this is the simple way. Data is there. Data name is the list. List is the having some of the element inside that one, and we are printing it. So if we print normally the regular print method, this is how it will look like, right? And you can see the output, it is printing the content of the data. And don't think that this is in the next line. It is like how it is showing in the output. Okay, but for it will go beyond the screen, and then we need to scroll down that side. So after every comma, what I did, I have separated into the next line. Okay. So if we are printing normally with the print method, it is printing whatever the content it is written inside that, the same manner it is printing to you. Okay. Now the same print statement we will try with the pretty print method, that is the p print. Okay. And as we have discussed, what are the modules we are using today? So for making use of that, we need to import first. Okay, so we have imported this pprint, and from where, so this is the syntax to import the pretty print, and you can see here the definition for that, some of the methods which is available for this pretty print. Pprint is the module. Okay, and if you see over here, if you just scroll down, it is having some of the methods like pprint, pformat, safer pr. Okay, so like that it is having multiple methods, but based on that, you should be, the basic agenda for this module is that you should be aware, right? These are the some of the modules already present in the Python that we can be make use of that one. So simple, we will now print with this pprint. See the difference between output. Let me make it full screen. Got anything? Now you can see how it is printing.
Yeah.
So first element is this one, and this is the, it is printing as it is. Second element, again it is not having one element, right? It is having the multiple things inside this one. So it has designed its own kind of the way. Got it? And there is no logic behind this one.
Yeah.
This is how this pprint is working. And just now we have seen some of the examples which we are talking about the some of the more methods which was available into this one, right?
Yeah.
Let me explore that one also. Like we have seen that there was some method that is known as pformat. Just now we seen, right?
Yeah.
In this one, we were having the pformat method. How that is working and what are the basic concept of working out that one. So this is the pformat. Same example. If you see, this is the same input. And so that whenever you are running normal applications, you will be able to see some of the logs related to that file, right? Log will be set for that.
Yeah.
What are the steps it is executing for each and every line? You can be able to print the logs. Okay, so this print pformat method, this example is basically to give you the log information. Means how you can be able to get means write the logs into the Python. Okay, so let me remove this first because that is the second part of this one. Okay, this is the data input, no confusion.
Yeah.
And here
Yeah.
how we are going to make use of this log. Okay, and how we can achieve it. So for that purpose we have one of the module that is known as logging. First you need to import it, and based on that logging, it will also give you over here the multiple methods, what method you want to do. So like debug, if you see over here, right? By default, info will be there, debug will be there, error will be there. So these are the normal information. Okay, this error on top you have seen debug, right? Similar kind of
Yeah.
the warning. For warning, it will be the warning. And if you see over here, it is showing you the another form of the warning, which is you have to define it with the, some of the parameters, what message, what arguments you want to pass it. Okay. But normal warning, normal info, normal log, how you can be able to see, set it into your code. This example will tell you. So this logging by this object, we are making use of the basic config is one of the method available over here. And in this one, what we are doing, we are simply printing the label. What is the label of the log? Whether it is a debug mode, whether it is the like information, whether it is warning, whether it is the like, yeah. So like that information you need to set. So label is nothing but it the debug, info, warning, error. These are the different labels. Okay. And if you wish, you want to set some of the message also for that purpose. Like suppose some of the debug information is coming, and for that you want to set some specific format for that message, right? It means how it is going to be displayed at the console window. So this is the format work. If you see over a format, and inside this we are having the log name. So label name will be like the debug. So it will be the label name and the messages. So what messages you want to pass, that information can be passed to this message, right? And below that, this is also one of the example, logging dot debug, and it is having some of the informations, right? Logging p formatted data. This is normal, like how instead of this debugging, if you write inside that the print statement, also print in that, if you write logging platform p formatted data, it will work. But that is not the standard way. The standard way to print anywhere, print is basically to print the information, but while running and debugging your application, you cannot print everywhere, right? Print statement, print statement, print statement, like, right? So for that purpose, we are making use of this logging, and based on that logging, we are simply printing the logs. So this is the data. On that data, we will generate the log. So if you see what has the it has got the message. What message it got?
Debug.
Let me show you over here. So this is the format. Okay, label name. It is printing. What is the label? So already we have set the label over here. The debug. Okay, and the same it is showing. Then it is showing the message. And what is the message? Message is this is the logging p formatted data. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is the format what we set. Now we will modify this same example as we have seen. Some codes were written over here. This code is also not any specific thing, right? But what we are doing over here, in the previous example, we have seen that example for that formatting pretty print, right? In that example itself, we will give some debugging information. Okay, like if we debug first line, we will give some information for that. Second line, third line, means line by line. If we are debugging anything, how we are debugging? We are debugging line by line, right? So line by line, it will print some of the information for that. So how we can do it? So you can see over here, we are making use of this p format method. And from where it is coming, this p format method is coming from the p print only. Okay, you can see over here. Format a Python object into a pretty print representation. Means instead of normal object representation, it will give you the representation in the form of the some formatted way.
Yeah.
So this data is now into the normal text format that will be converted by using the p format method. Okay, and it will be stored into the formatted object. Got it? So now if you are printing simply the formatted, it will print you the normal pretty print, what the output we have seen in the previous example. What we will do, we will put, because it was showing the output into multiple lines, right? Line by line it was showing. So
Yeah.
on each and every line, we will put some logging information now. Okay, because it will have the multiple lines. So we have to make use of the loops. Okay. So for, if you see the loop, for it is saying line in the formatted split lines. So by default, how the lines will be splitted based on the space, right?
Yeah.
And for every line, it will give you the some debugging information. Let me run, then we'll explain. If you look at the first line, debug logging for p formatted data, that is the previous data itself, right? Now we are setting the debug labels, like we are simply giving the messages for each and every lines. We have splitted the output into the line by line, and for every line we have set the label. So this label is the debug by default we have set, and this message here, this is the message. So line dot, we are stripping that message one line and we are printing instead of this logging formatted data. It's not difficult, but it's not easy to get it into one shot only, because whenever you write some code and you will specify the debugging levels into your code, that time it will be easier to understand for you, right? That time you can easily understand how we can write the logs for that. This is one of the normal example. So little bit it will be not good for you. Is there any chance that what the pretty print method we are using, can we write our own way? Is there any way? So this is the example. If you see the name itself, pretty print custom. Custom means we are writing our own pretty print method. Means what it is doing, it is basically giving you the formatted output, right? So now there will be a question, how it is going to be formatted, on what condition it is going to be formatted, because we are now writing our own codes, right, to format it. So simply nothing, we have one class color, in that initialization constructor is there and some method is there, right? What are the content inside that one, that we will see when we are seeing this line color. Colors is nothing but it is an object, and for what it is an object, it is an object of the color class, this class itself, right? And if you look over here, the very first line, this is the first line. Okay, so in this one we are passing the two different parameters. First one is the name, okay, and second one is the hexadecimal value related to that particular color. Okay, you can pass anything like the normally how we are passing. And if you see the line number 12, colors equal to, and in the equal to part only the highlighted line. Okay, so forget about the remaining part of that line. Just imagine colors equal to color in that two fields is there, right?
Yeah.
So think on this part only. So it means this color class will have two parameters with itself. First one will be the name, whatever the value you can assign this one, and second one the hex value. Hex value is nothing but if you are giving me the color white, I will be printing the hex value associated with that one. And that value, it can be also, it is fixed somewhere according to our normal HTML CSS page. It is fixed that this value, whatever you are saying, this is fixed. But for this example, you can give any value, whatever it is, it will print it, right? So here in this constructor, we are doing simply the initializing of these two value, right? Then this method itself, by making use of this method, we are returning some value. And this kind of the examples we have seen also previously. initialization, and from there as a return statement, or directly we can make use of the print statement in a particular method to print it, right?
Yeah.
So what basically it is done over here in this example, we have created the three different objects. This same can be created into the three different lines. Color one equal to this one, color two equal to this one, color three equal to purple this one, right? But why to waste the memory? Got it? Why to waste the memory? So for that purpose, what it has done over here, instead of creating the three different value for the three different objects, like let me write over here one if you are not getting clear picture. This is how we are creating the objects, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. Oh, same thing. If we have to create one more object, what we will do? We have to write like this one, and we will change the content over here, right? So instead of creating the same thing and again, what it has done in this line number 14, a list has been created. Got it? So this is one of the list which is having the three different object for the color class. I think it's not so difficult to understand what it is, right? Instead of creating into the three different objects, we have created one list itself and assigned to this object color. Clear? Let me run this one. What you are saying?
Yeah.
I am a Salman and you are the find me at this one. Like that, three different object has been passed, and for that same three different output we have got, right? According to the input what we passed, we have got the output. So this is by making use of this print statement. Okay, we'll try to print this with the pretty print. It will ask you to import, so just import, or we can write on top itself. It will be imported somewhere. Yeah, it's imported. So now there is no issue. We will run this one. Let me comment this. See this one.
Okay. It was giving us different.
Yeah, because if you see the return statement, line number 10, we didn't tell that you need to print all the different into the different lines, right?
Yeah.
But automatically it is imaging and it is printing, like how internally it is working in the previous example also we have seen, right? Whatever the list content you will pass it will break element by element into the new line. Got it? The same thing, if we don't want to make use of this pretty print, and if we have to get the output like this one only by making use of this print, what we have to do? We have to specify the new line character over here. Means every time it will print into the new line. Getting the thing?
Yeah.
So this is how we can try to write our pretty print custom way also, but that is again I'm telling, it's not so much important, but something is present into our module, language module, that we have to aware of that one. And I was talking about the recursively. This is again one of the very good example if you look over here. Okay, what is this? This is one of the list. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
In this list, if I will print my list, we will get some output. Let me print it first, then we will discuss how it is going to work. Forget about the output of the second line output. You just think on the first line. So whatever the list you have created, that is, it is getting printed, right, in the output window.
Yeah.
Now, what we are doing over here in this my list dot. So in list, we have seen that we have the multiple method, right? And we have the feature that in existing list, we can append something, right? Suppose
Yeah.
1, 2, CD is there. Now I want to my list dot append X, then it will be X will be appended at the last. Correct?
Yes.
But if you look over here, what it is doing, the output line number 2 and code number line number 7, my list dot append. In that append, what we are appending?
List, like 1, 2.
Yeah, the whatever the existing list we are having, the same we are appending it, right?
Yeah.
How it will look like? Oh, we need to print it first. After that, this one also, or we can write whole thing inside the print. See, my list will be called. Inside that, again it will append the my list only. Like that, internally it is going to round and round, it is going to call, right?
Yeah.
Now, how it is going to print?
Very sure. None.
It is printing none. There may be some changes required over here. What changes will be required over here? That is the only a little bit change is there that you need to check it. Okay, something you should check it for the today class because it's simply watching the things it is right.
Yeah.
So we have the ID method which is already available into the Python ID. What is the meaning of this ID method? ID method will give you the location where the memory location where this object is created. That ID. There will, if any object is created by default, there will be some ID to it, right?
Yeah.
So that ID is going to be printed. This is the ID location, okay, where this is created. This is the ID. It is not the memory location. Got it?
Gotcha.
So how we can print the memory location? For that, I think I have told you this hash method is there, right?
Yeah. My list.
It is working with the particularly list. It will not work with the list. Okay, it will work for the particular one of the value. Like if I am writing x equal to 10, and for this, if I am printing, what we are printing, hash of x. What are the commented lines, whatever it is present over here? If you look over here, there is some comment line like this one. Yeah, first we will explore this one. Pretty print. Inside that, my list we are passing, and in that we are passing the width -1. What actually this mean? What is the meaning of this? How it is going to work?
Okay.
From the list, how the pretty print is printing, how the value is decided. -1 means 1 by 1 it is getting printed. See this
Yeah.
one. Now instead of this width, what we will make use of this another parameter. We have some more parameter also, and that parameter is known as depth. If you see over here, not getting any difference, what you can do, you can change this value now. Again, not getting anything. Just you need to check what actually the syntax of this one and how it is going to work. I think it is for the small element it is there. So first let me remove this one. Now we will check now, because it was earlier it was a small list only. Now what we are doing, we have appended it the same list. Yeah, if you see the output now, what you are getting.
Yeah, there's an
You forget about this one also. Now run it. What we are getting now.
same.
Now you try to run it. See this, what it is saying. After D, okay, after D it has appended something, okay, and what is this something? Something is nothing but the list itself. You have to just play with this one, just try to check how the difference output you are getting.
Showing from the recursion on the list with the ID.
You need to make changes into these values. Some more extra thing you are getting. Now let me make this at the depth as the 1. See how it is working now. Make it 2 and just check whether there is any difference or not. If it is 1, okay, it will give you direct one time 3 dots, right? If it is more than 1, what it is saying, you are printing the recursion on this list particular ID, and for that list it is printing the ID, and that ID you can also verify over here, it is the same. This is the list ID, okay, on which we are getting it from this ID, right? And it is telling you, if it is one time it will give you 1 dot dot. If it is more than that, it will tell you. Earlier it was like one time it was giving the 3 dot, okay, 2 times again 1 3 dot will be printing, but now it is printing the recursion work over here. It is telling that you are working on the recursion kind of the things inside this list. So what you can do, you can try to change this one. Try to change this value and we can see what the different output you are able to get it. Now here you can see the ID of this list itself is getting changed, so it will be again secondary matter. You just check it, because I am not telling you a lot of these methods available, but I am telling you that this kind of the syntax is available into Python, that how recursively it can be called, and you have seen that after appending it, and if you are calling with the depth as the 1, it is going to give you the 3 dots like that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
One more thing, when we were talking for the sys module, right? By making use of this sys module, whether there is a possibility to read anything, whether there is a possibility to write anything or not. Yes, so it is possibility, okay. And if you look at this code, it is giving you the error because this is not imported. Let's import it. Now it is fine. It will not give you any output for these lines, okay. First, we will run it and we will see what the print statement is printing. Do we get anything?
Nothing.
Nothing, right?
Yeah.
Means internally it is running. Okay. See here, process write is running and we cannot run it parallelly. So we need to like return and something like that. So these are the things which we have already seen, right, into the previous sys module. If you write all these things inside the printf, it is going to work for you, right? It will print like sys dot platform. It was printing Windows 32 bit, something like that. Correct?
Yeah.
Let me remove this. Now we will see. Here it is running. We need to stop it first. See the error code now. We have forcefully stopped, so it is -1. I think it will take time. Okay, it is running. We'll forget on that part now. Let it be take the time. And this was the one of the code which I was talking, that if something is there already written, and here we have not written that you have to give this value, direct value, right?
Yeah.
So how we can give the value from the command prompt? What are the possibility to give the value from the command prompt? That is through the sys.arg argument, right? Means if you are not making use of the system, you can directly read the value over here only, right?
Yeah.
For this line, for I in range, and range can you can give the directly over here value 5 or 10, it will work, right? But here what we are doing, we are taking the input length, and input from where we are getting the input, we need to pass it from the command prompt or the terminal from where we are running. We are not running this program from this editor. Okay. And whatever the number of the argument you will give from that command prompt, okay, suppose you are giving 1, you are giving 2, you are giving 3, that will be the length by this line, right? Length. So if you are giving the two arguments from the command, I will show you how we can give the argument. But for now, if you see, if we are going to give these as the two argument, it will be the length will be calculated 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that for I in range of 2, it will work and it will check. If I is equal to 0, then it will print something, this one, else it will print this one. How we can run this one? Any idea? No idea.
No.
Have you seen anywhere like you are not running the code, but you are simply from the command prompt or the terminal, you are simply passing the arguments, 2 arguments, 3 arguments like that?
Yeah.
So if you pass that 2 arguments,
Uh-huh.
that will be first the length will be taken over here, and based on that it will print. Second time what it is doing, argument 0 and argument I, means if you are not giving any argument, that it is taking it, this message will be printed. If you are giving more than 0, okay, based on that it will print that values. Now how we can run this one? What is the way to run this one?
Mm.
No clue.
No, I didn't get any.
Think one more time. You will surely get. First of all, if Python is installed into your machine, okay, you are not making use of this IDLE to work, you are not making use of any editor, is there any possibility that we can run our code? Without editor, is there any possibility?
No. I think it will have so that we can run it.
Yeah, we have the possibility, and I'll show you. Okay, this is the name file, right?
Uh-huh.
What we can do, we can go to the location of this one. Either we can go to the location of this file from the command prompt, normal CMD from the window, or in this editors they have provided the facility, similar facility. Okay, so here you can see this, right click, it will give you the option open in terminal. Terminal is a concept, if you are familiar with the Linux or the Mac, it will be going to show you that we are making use of the terminal instead of the command prompt, right?
Yeah.
It is similar to the command prompt in the Windows. So it is telling option open in terminal. Now means this code will be open in one of the terminal of this editor itself. It will not go outside of this editor, but it will open over here. Okay. So this is the option. If you click on this one, it will open over here, and you can see this here it is showing the terminal. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me open this one. Remember the name itself. So this is the terminal. Okay. And if you don't have any editor into your machine, and you don't want to make use of this IDLE, because in this IDLE you cannot pass the argument from outside, right? We are
Yeah.
simply hitting and getting. So how we can read it and how we can run it? So running the Python, you need to tell this example that this is the Python example. Okay. Whatever you are going to run, that is the Python example. First you need to specify. Then name of the program. Okay. If you type like this one, it will execute it. Suppose in the content of this cmd argument.py, whatever it is open over there, if it is only hello world is there, okay, printf hello world, nothing is there, okay. So this is the only syntax, py and then filename.py. If you hit enter, it will run the content, okay. But this program is to get some argument, okay. Before giving argument, I will hit enter and we'll see what it is saying. It is saying that it is looking for some argument, okay. Now we'll copy this one. Oh, we need to type cmd args.py, okay, and we will pass one argument, okay, hit enter. So in this file cmd argument and one what we have passed over here, that will come over here, okay. That will be replaced over here, like how we are calling the functions. Remember, we have defined the functions, and while creating the object, after creating, we are passing some argument that is getting called. So there we were writing in the same file itself, but now we are writing this one with the help of the argument. Got my point?
Yeah.
So here argument of 0 will be the name itself, it will print, okay. The file name itself will be the argument 0. If you see here, we have the two argument. This one is one argument and this one is the second argument, okay. So first argument, it is saying that this is the function name itself. Okay. Now I will try to run this one with the two arguments. One, see now we have two name will be the always file name will be considered as the first argument. Okay. Then
Yeah.
second argument, what you pass? I want to pass one more argument. Got it? I want to
Yeah.
pass one more argument. See here how it is working. Argument 1 and argument 3. What I can pass? We have passed 7 different values, right? And
Yeah.
we have not restricted that what could be the number of the value. So whatever the number of the value you will pass from here, that will be taken as the length, and for that number of the times your for loop is going to be executed. Clear?
Yeah.
So if you are passing these many value, the same will be calculated the length. You can see now. It is not specifically fixed that you can give only one value and you can give only two value. Correct? The same
Yeah.
thing. Let me show you from the command prompt of the Windows. Okay. It is same what we seen in the editor now. So first of all, we have to go to this location only where this file is present, right?
Uh-huh.
So how we can go? We need to change the directory.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this we changed it, right? We reached to
Yeah.
R drive.
Yeah.
In that R drive, we need to go to this location first. Correct?
Uh-huh.
Slash, you can see in the left hand side down corner where is the location. Same thing we will reach over there. Correct?
Mhm.
Now this one and this location both are same.
Yeah.
Okay. And from here I will run this one. Dot file 1/5. Clear? See at the first line it is saying you all the argument details what we have printed over here. Okay, and then the remaining content inside the for loop has got executed.
Yeah.
This is the one thing. You can further modify this one, like we first reach to this R drive and from there we are executing this one, right? If you don't want to change to this R drive and you want to execute it from the C drive, then here, like in the C drive itself, you here you need to py, and before this function name, okay,
Mhm.
you need to give the location r:/Wednesday work/modules inside that cmdr arguments dot py. Uh, Either you can reach to that location and you can directly execute it, or you can execute from any location, but you need to specify the file path with the name.
Right.
Got it? Because we
Yeah.
already reached to this R and then we are executing directly. If we want to execute from C, you can do it, but before this CMD argument, we need to give the path where it is present.
Yeah.
Now try to execute this something, some examples, you will be more clear. And
Sure.
we'll discuss remaining topics tomorrow.
Okay.